Good morning, everyone. Thank you so much for joining us live on YouTube. It is so exciting to be with the She Leads Africa organization as we empower more women in Africa to gain digital skills. I'm Hodan Nalayeh. I'm the founder of Integration TV. I'm a woman who lives in Toronto, Canada, but I'm inspired by Africa and I share stories from Somalia and Somali people around the world. I built a digital platform and I'm going to share with you today how you can do the same thing and empower your communities around the world and share our stories as Africans and also grow our businesses as women who are basically venturing into the digital platforms around the world. It's an exciting time in this world right now where women, everyone can be a storyteller, where everyone can find their own niche of community, what I call their tribes. I know in African culture, sometimes tribes can be a negative thing, but finding that special tribe, the people who support you, the people who believe in your work, your brand, who trust you, that is what it's about. So I hope that you guys join us today and have an engaging discussion. We've had many people sign up and we've also had so many questions. I'm shocked that so many people are so intrigued by getting into YouTube for digital storytelling. And we'll get started shortly. I'll wait for you guys to join and engage. Don't forget, if you're on social media, on Twitter, please use the hashtag Motherland Moguls. If you are tweeting with us, that would be awesome. And I'm so excited that you guys are here. And it's weird because live on YouTube is a lot different than live on Facebook sometimes, but I think we can have an engaging conversation today. And I'm really here for your success and sharing my success so that you can be empowered to be the next storytellers of Africans and African stories. So let's go here. This is exciting. So what I'll do is we'll just basically start out telling you how I started Integration TV. One of the things that I love telling every woman out there is you can use whatever pain that you have in your life as your purpose. You know, about 5 years ago, I'm a divorced parent with 2 young children, and I had decided to go back to school just because, you know, when some things like life events happen to you, what you decide is that you want to be able to discover yourself, discover your gifts, discover who you are. And in that pain, I decided to, find my purpose, find what I was passionate about, what I wanted to contribute to the world. Because all the time we're so busy living and just not being awake in this world that we don't think about our lives have purposes as women. We don't think that we are more than the roles that society gives us, just as like, oh, you're a mother now, so you don't have the opportunity to pursue your dreams, or you're divorced, you're not good enough to get back in the game of life. So all these little narratives that we tell ourselves as women. So I decided to go back to school, and it was that time that I saw there was such a need for positive stories about Somali people, because I had never heard anything good about my community. I had never heard anything great about where I come from. So I decided that I was going to be that change and to share those stories and to help empower my community to see good for themselves. So we started Integration TV, and believe me when I tell you, I didn't know what I was doing, okay? Like if you watch my old videos, you can see the transformation of my work, transformation of who I am. So don't think that you can't start something because you're not perfect or you're not where you want to be in life. And I think that's the best thing about YouTube. Today is the day to start. You don't have to wait for perfection. And I want every woman to understand that your stories matter. So when I started the channel, I wasn't perfect. But guess what? When there's one of my mentors who's one of the founders of LinkedIn, and he says that if you start your product and you're so proud of it right now, you ship too late. So if you start and you know your product was imperfect 4 or 5 years ago, and today it's better than what it was 4 or 5 years ago, you shipped at the right time and you are leading in the game. So, and that's what I want you to understand. Today, if you are that pharmacy owner at the corner of Legos and you decide you want to start telling stories about your customers, you can start today. If you are that woman who owns a clinic, in Kenya, you can start telling your patients stories to help them overcome, to help them see, and that's how you're going to build your communities. So that's a little talk about how I started. I want to welcome everybody. Let's see who's online here. Okay, great. We'll start from here. The next one is we want to explain how the community building and the stages of digital life cycle. Many people will start, on YouTube, and they don't understand there's actually a cycle of that life. And basically it's, how do you find your people? YouTube is about finding like-minded people and connecting them and sharing what's important to them. It's about creating content that speaks to the people. It's about sharing what they need. It's not about you. It's what your community needs, and your community will find you, right? Um, and another thing too that I've noticed is that like people will always create content, but they forget that you need to change with your content. You need to innovate. The person you were last year, if you are the same person today, it doesn't make for great content. The only evidence of life is growth. So YouTube is the same thing. YouTube is a channel where people need to see your business either growing, your business either changing, your business contributing, your business gaining new customers that you want to tell stories about. So it's not about staying the same. YouTube is always evolving, it's innovating, and it's being out there. It's putting yourself out there. And I'll talk about that a little bit later, because one of the hardest things for many women to do on the internet is build their confidence to come online and to put themselves out there, which are the brave souls, I say, because so many of us, when I started my journey, it's not easy. You're going to deal with online trolls. You're going to deal with people who think you look dumb on camera, who think that your product sucks, but who cares about that? You need to build confidence, and I'll talk about that in a little bit, okay? And we also got a lot of questions, so I'll address those questions also. So let me welcome everybody. I hope you guys are tweeting. Make sure you are using the hashtag Motherland Moguls. Make sure that you're supporting SheLeadsAfrica.org and telling all your friends about that. And don't forget, when this video, again, is put on other places, please share, because sharing is caring. One of the reasons I'm doing this platform is to share information with more women. I didn't realize that, sometimes as women, we downplay our knowledge because we think it's not valuable. But here I am, a mother with 2 young children who started a platform from the basement of her home and decided to put myself out there. And today we are the leading platform for Somali stories in the world, and one of the trusted platforms to engage and to get eyeballs. I mean, it's not one thing to have a community that you build on the internet. It's about having the right kind of audience. If you have 100 subscribers on your YouTube channel, but those 100 people support you, believe in you, that is better than 100,000 people who don't contribute anything to your narrative. So I want to thank you so much. Nicole, thank you so much. Welcome. Thank you for joining us. Nicole Patterson, I would love to know what city you are from. It's always nice to see women from all over the world engaging. Some of the questions that we got from Mombasa, Kenya, from Lagos, from Zambia, it's amazing. The human spirit is connected globally, and that's what YouTube is doing. We are all walking stories. The stories are the DNAs of our lives. They are what make the fabric of people connect. When I went to Somalia and I saw the same stories in women in myself, that's how I was able to make that connection. A woman who lives in Somalia, she may have different life circumstances than me, but her struggles are the same. So the human struggle is no different. And with YouTube, you're able to share those stories. Let's go on to the next section. As I said, please use the hashtag Motherland Moguls. If you're tweeting, you see anything inspired by, anything you want to share out there. Engagement is so powerful. What She Leads Africa is doing is so powerful for women. And we want to make sure we support our sisters who are empowering other sisters. And that's what it's about, guys. This is the age where we live, where Africa needs to rise, where people need to see there's a bigger vision for our continent, and that we need to connect like-minded people to engage and to move our societies forward. Okay, oh great, Jamaican based in Switzerland. Thank you so much for joining, that's amazing. We actually have one of the largest Jamaican diaspora in Toronto, Canada. It's powerful. Here we go. So the next one I'm going to talk about is what binds people together. Some people think they're going to start a YouTube channel and they're going to find everybody out there is going to be their target audience. Well, that's not true. What binds people together is a vision. It's a purpose. It's what is your story that you want your audience to feel like they can be part of? What is your success they can share in? So, having a vision will bind people together. And when people come to a community, think about it in your own societies, why do you want to feel part of a community? You want to feel a sense of belonging, a sense of purpose. When I post a YouTube video and my viewers come on instantly, it's amazing because that means they have a connection to what we're doing. They have a purpose to what they're seeing. So you want to be able to engage the people on your channel with content that gives them a purpose. Another thing that I love is, don't ever forget, people are by nature love to be optimistic. I know there's a lot of negativity in the world, but everybody lives and thrives on hope. So hope and giving people optimism is one of the best things that we can do as Africans on the internet. It's so powerful that when I travel to Africa and I see all the beautiful stuff that we have that people outside of Africa never get to experience, imagine giving that feeling to millions of other people on the internet. I started digital storytelling in Somalia, but it doesn't mean that you can't start it locally in your small communities. I always say people don't appreciate what they have because they see it every day. But imagine, here I am, a girl who grew up all my life in Canada for over 30 something years. And I went back to Somalia for the first time after I left as a 6-year-old, and going back and taking a walk on the beach. I mean, honestly, the feeling that I felt being on that beach and the experience that it gave me, I was able to convey that to my audience. And today, thousands of young Somalis return to Somalia having that same feeling when they connect back to their homeland. So you don't have to necessarily, feel like you can share negativity. Share the positivity of your stories. Share the positivity of your cities. Share the positivity of your business. What is your business doing to make your community better? Think about that today. What are you doing today to contribute to other people around you as a local business? Once you figure that out, you can start telling your stories about your business. And that's what's powerful. Okay, so let's go to the next one. I actually want to see if we can answer some of the questions that we got online, which I love. Some of them so engaging. We've got a few questions from Indego. She's from Nairobi, Kenya, and she wants to know, how do you tell a digital story based on one's business? Think about that question. How powerful is that? We live in a time and age where businesses are competing for customers, for attention. And if you are not online right now as a business, what happens to you is that you basically don't exist, okay? If you're not on Google, if you're not on Instagram, if you're not on YouTube, you need to have something of a digital footprint. So many people think, I don't need to be online. I don't need to do this. I already have customers. But imagine how many more customers you can have. When we have clients that are, asking us advice on how do they increase their digital presence, it's pretty simple. Come online. Create interesting graphics. Create things that engage your audience. I don't want to know just what you're selling me. I want to know what's your added value. I once had a realtor ask me, how can she become a better digital person on the internet? And I said to her, first of all, have you ever posted a story about someone that you sold a home to? Think about that. She couldn't even answer that. And I said, okay, tomorrow, what I want you to do is I want you to visit your former customers who actually bought a home from you. And I want you to ask them what inspired them to become homeowners. What was their struggle to get there? And I want you to take a photo of them, with their permission, obviously, in front of their new home that you helped them get. And I want you to share their story. How did they become homeowners? And, it's amazing when she contacted me and she said, I never thought of that. And I said, yeah, because we never think about sharing the stories of the customers that we already have. Success comes from taking care of what you already have. So your local customers, the people you're already dealing with, you can start telling their stories. The local pharmacy in Nigeria can tell about the customers, why they are so loyal to this agency or why they're loyal to that store. Why do they trust them with their medicine? Why is it that realtor, what's amazing, what she said was one of her customers was a young couple who never thought that they could own a home. But today they are, expecting a baby, they are homeowners, and it was the biggest dream come true for them. And for her to write that story on her Instagram, how powerful is that? It has nothing to do with her, that story. It has nothing to do with her business, but it connects her customers to her. Because the number one referral base for everyone out there is who? Your current customers. Okay? I know it's a weird thing to say that, but it's true. If you take care of your current customers, even for the realtor business, they will always refer you more clients. Okay? We have another question coming in. Here we go. She said, Blessing from Nigeria, Bothcourt, Nigeria. She says that she started a digital platform that focused on virtual jobs for the unemployed. Please, how can I best create more value and build a strong reputation? Okay, so you're starting a platform for the unemployed. I would love you to find your unemployed employees. And I know this is kind of weird, but how many people post on Twitter where they're standing on a street corner saying, I'm looking for a job, and they're dressed up and they pass 100 cars. Within an hour, one car stops and gives them a job interview and they get a job. Think about your unemployed people that you have as stories. What is their story to get a job? And maybe you can market that person and share. Sometimes we have such highly overqualified people who can get jobs. Telling the story of that engineer who, may not be able to find a job because he has 3 degrees and the companies think he's overqualified, but you can talk about his achievements. You can talk about his family, how he wants to take care of his children, how he wants to empower his local community to be better. Imagine that. Do you think employers will not be coming to you? There is power in the human struggle stories. And the people who want to do well in life will always find opportunities. One of the things that I love is knowing that persistence will always get you in the door. So let's be more persistent on the internet and think about, the internet is an open business. When people walk into your page, what are you representing? It's people coming into your home. So when people come to your home, what are you representing to them? So please, if you can find your unemployed customers that you have that you're trying to fill positions for, I want you to build digital stories about them. It's powerful. Another question that we have is, this is a really excellent question. Listen to this one. Tempe Tobe writes in from Nigeria, and she says, how can I build my subscriber base to 5,000 within 6 months of creating a YouTube channel? Okay. First of all, if you're starting out with numbers, you got YouTube wrong, okay? YouTube is not a platform where you decide how many subscribers you want. The people decide if they want to subscribe to your channel. And that is based on your content, that is based on your personality, that's based on what knowledge you're offering and the services that you're providing. So if your goal is to get subscribers on YouTube, you already are losing the game. Your goal should be to be relevant on YouTube, to give a service, to be that channel that people come to and say, hey, I connect with this person. I see something in myself in them. I want to learn more about this. So don't think about subscribers, which I always love from my mentor, Gary Vee, who I actually read a lot of his books. One of the things that I learned from him was, if you are creating good content, you will always have subscribers. People will come to you. People think Integration TV, it's been 5 years now since I launched the channel, actually 4 years, and people think I was an overnight success. But actually, majority of my subscribers, I have about 40,000 subscribers now, they came approximately 2 years ago. So the first 2 years of me being on YouTube, it was hardly no traction. The last 2 years is when most of my traction came. Guess what? Because people get to know you, you grow your platforms in other places, and that's what it's about. So don't think about YouTube as about subscribers. Think about it as added value to your business, where you are offering your business to have a presence on the internet. And did you know also that if you have a YouTube video for your business, you are basically likely to show up in the search engine of Google faster? How powerful is that? When people Google your local business and you have a video, you are more likely to come up in the top category. So you should be thinking like that. Don't think about YouTube as a place where you're going to make money to have many subscribers, okay? If you're not, I always tell people, they laugh at me all the time. They're like, oh, you don't have that many, 40,000 is not that many subscribers. I go, well, let me tell you something. 40,000 is a lot of subscribers for someone who's not doing pranks, not telling jokes, not showing off their butt. So 40,000 subscribers of engaged people is more important than millions of people who just find you for the moment. And YouTube now is focused heavily on how long are people watching your content. You know, when I put a 21-minute video up on YouTube, a TV special, and majority of my viewers are watching the entire 21 minutes, that is powerful. That means the content is engaging them. So you need to find content that engages, that is relevant, that is important to your audience. And so don't worry about subscribers. Thank you so much, Tempo. And the one last question I will take from UAE. I love this. Okay. UAE Vimble writes in, is it Vimbe? Vimbe. She says that, do you find it's better to target a market or make digital media that's relatable, entertaining for a wider demographic? Okay, so this is very interesting. I always get this question. People ask me, why do you only focus on the Somali community? I've had people tell me, oh, you're so talented. You need to go to the wider audiences of the world. But I'm going to tell you something powerful. We live in a digital age where people are competing for everyone's attention. There is no way you can cater to everyone, okay? You are not friends with everybody in the world. You need to find who are the people that are going to make sense for your products, who are going to make sense for your channel, for your content, okay? So do I believe in targeting a wider audience? Oh no, I am a firm believer in niche targeting. The internet is too big, too wide, too focused on many distractions. You see Twitter every day, how many tweets come through. You see how many videos on Snapchat. You see how much content is being shared on Instagram. Do you think you're going to be able to target everybody? I don't think so. Find your tribe, find your niche market, find your audience, find your customers, and focus on them. That is where success lies, okay? Let's go to the next one. I think that's, let's see here. Okay, maybe I should answer one more thing. Oh, I love this. Kamal Hassan Aden, he didn't say which city he was from, but he said, how can nonprofits spread their message effectively through social media platforms? Well, particularly for YouTube, I think a lot of nonprofits, they miss the mark because what they do is they don't focus, again, on the storytelling. You know, a lot of nonprofits think, well, we're a nonprofit. We can't afford video production. We can't afford this. We can't afford that. You can afford to do videos, okay? You don't need anything but a cell phone these days. So this is not about excuses. The engagement on the YouTube and the internet is about the will. It's about the will to start. It's about the will to continue. And it's about the will to keep innovating. So don't worry about, you know, what can we do? What we don't know what to share. Just start. Start something. Share the story of your donors, what they're doing. Share the story of your, you know, the people that you help. You know, one of the things I got tired of was that a lot of the narrative that comes out of Africa, especially a lot of nonprofits, is they're always constantly sharing the sad stories of the people they help. You know, oh, today we donated $5,000 of food to this village, and then they show the village getting fed. I honestly, it breaks my heart. You know, the human dignity is to be preserved. And we as Africans need to think about how we can continue to preserve our dignity and share stories that highlight our success, our achievement, and show the will of the people. You know, when I travel to Somalia, and the stories that I like to cover is people who help themselves. I want to see someone else that has lifted themselves up from the ground, that has shared their story, that has made themselves more powerful in life, you know, and that is a narrative moving forward for Africa. We don't want to be showing the handouts of our communities. We don't want to be showing constantly, you know, Africa is in this poverty state of not doing well. You know what? Africa is not that. I've seen it with my own two eyes, and I hope you guys will get to watch my Tanzania special. When I visited Tanzania, and I was so amazed how people are just so passionate about life, what they've accomplished. And I said, this is not the Africa they tell us in North America, around the world. We need to start sharing African entrepreneurs. We need to start sharing Africans that are doing amazing things. And those stories can come from you and your communities only, okay? So let's go to the next topic. Thank you so much for everybody who's joining. And don't forget, if you're just joining now, please continue to use the hashtag Motherland Moguls on Twitter and join us in the conversation. If you find anything that inspires you, you can connect us with there. Okay, so the next one, the question that we have here, the next part I'm going to say is, what are the three successful, the building a successful digital community, the steps that you take, which we call the 3 E's. What you need to do online, number one, is educate. What are you teaching your audience? What are they learning from you? What will they gain from your content? I want to see you educate and empower also. So we'll get to the empowerment part. Engage and excite, okay? If you are not passionate about your product, what you're doing, how can other people be excited for you? So as a business owner, you need to start thinking about how do you engage and excite the people who are following your pages. You know, one of the things that I love is giving shout outs to my followers, people who, you know, send me inboxes, engaging with them, connecting with them. And people are always surprised that I answer their questions or that I reply. But guess what? I love that, because I do this to build a community. I don't do this for the fame. I don't do this for sure for the money. Because let me tell you something, if you are doing stuff for the money, guess what happens? You will quit when it's hard to make it for you. This internet business, to become a digital entrepreneur, takes years of hard grind work. There was times in my first 2 years of business where I would be up from 1 a.m. to 6 a.m. before I took my kids to school working on content. You know, do you think Steve Jobs became the head of Apple and doing Apple and innovating the world, you know, before he died by sleeping all day? Or was he hustling all hours and contributing to create that product that stands out in the marketplace? So think about that. This is not for the weak-minded. You need to think about the long-term game that you're in if you decide to become a digital entrepreneur. And the next one is passion. I say promotion, passion, and persistence. So promotion, passion, and persistence. So keep going, promote, engage, and connect with your audience. The last one is empower. We are nothing if we are not using our voice to help other people rise in life. You know, in this marketplace now, all over the world, everybody has a story to share on Twitter. And if we as influencers of our cultures, we as influencers as business owners, we as influencers as community leaders, politicians, it's the time now to use our voices to elevate those who are in need, those who are suffering, those who need advocacy. And I think starting a YouTube channel can give many people in Africa that voice to be able to share and to connect and to empower the next generation to change their lives. So find your purpose and empower. The next tips for innovating storytelling using YouTube. This is my favorite one. I want you to find stories that matter. You know, think about a story. Would you sit through the newspaper and read it? That's how you know it could be a good digital story. If you can sit on your newspaper, read a story, that creates a lot of connection, okay? Another thing too is that the human stories, they're powerful. There's a reason why the top rated videos on YouTube, Facebook and YouTube are about human beings. You know, when I did a story about a single mother of 5 children in Canada who adopted a baby, I mean, who would think a single mom of 5 children could adopt a baby? But that video has over 100,000 views on our channel. You know, that's powerful, right? Or the mother who had 2 autistic kids. You know, these are stories that people don't think about. And, you know, a lot of times in the African communities, a lot of these topics are not talked about. People hide disabilities, people hide diseases, people hide things that are not even worth hiding. These are things that can create a connection in your community. I mean, there's people who are on YouTube creating content around their cancer struggles, and they're finding their community of other cancer patients and sharing and connecting. So don't be ashamed of the struggles that you have in life. Put yourself out there. Put yourself out there for other people to be inspired and empowered, okay? The next one is the secret to success of every vibrant online community. Okay, the number one secret to success of every online community, plain and simple. You need to be on more than YouTube, okay? When you're on YouTube, like many people don't know that I actually started building my audience in other platforms also, but YouTube was where I loaded all my content. But I also have a large following on Facebook, a large following on Instagram, Snapchat, which is another whole animal, and Twitter. So you need to think about, how do you, when you post a video, how do you engage in other platforms? How do you story tell where people can come? Like a lot of times hosting a live video after you post a video on YouTube, and people inviting people to come back to Facebook and say, hey, you want to talk about the video? How did it make you feel? What did you think about it? Did you engage with it? Tell me your highlight moments. That is creating connection. And if you're not on Instagram right now, you're missing the boat. Instagram is one of the fastest growing social media platforms right now. At one time, people thought Snapchat, but really the amount of stories that are being posted on Instagram is so powerful. And I'm so happy that, people are thinking bigger these days. Don't limit yourself to one platform. Obviously, find where your niche market hangs out. The younger audience, 18 to 34, typically tend to be on Instagram. But I know a lot of Africans love Facebook because obviously of the data and the issues with internet. So Facebook tends to be highly used in Africa, very effective reaching Africans and of all ages. So don't limit yourself. Find your audience. If it's Facebook, go ahead, but make sure that you are connecting your platform to your community in other places, not just YouTube, okay? Another thing is, let's see if we have more. Thank you so much, She Leads Africa. Make sure you're visiting the website, sheleadsafrica.org, and to support, sign up for the emails that they get. I actually love some of the resources, and I'm proud that it's African women leading this change. So please make sure you support them, tell your friends, engage, and share this video if you see it on other platforms. Don't forget, also use the hashtag Motherland Moguls if you're live watching us right now. And okay, so the last part that I love is we're going to get to is how do you build your confidence? Everybody wants to know this because, everywhere I travel and actually doing a lot of my public speaking engagements, the first question, whether it's a young girl who is 15, 16, or a woman in her 40s, the first question they'll ask me is, how did you gain confidence? How did you decide to put yourself out there, to be vulnerable, to be subject to abuse on the internet? How did you do it? And I will tell you this, guys. When you start your journey and you decide that you're going to leave a legacy in this world, you're not going to care what people think about you. So you have to have a bigger purpose than what you're doing for others, right? So my thing for me was that, it obviously your skin builds up, your thick skin. I don't know what it is. I think there's something also about, us African women and from diverse cultures, the internet is a little bit harsh on us, right? Because sometimes like my viewers, or should I say my trolls, the things that they would write, it was very painful. And as a mom with 2 children, sometimes I had to say to myself, don't read the comments, because when I get home, I want to be the best mom for my kids. I don't want to be that woman that's sad because some person I don't even know, who's irrelevant in my life, has said something to me on the internet. So a lot of times it's disconnecting. It's knowing that, you don't need to engage with everybody. You need to engage with those who celebrate you, with those who believe in you, and those who love your product, your business, and what you're doing. So many people focus on the people who hate them, which I can't understand anymore, because once I started taking that away from that narrative of I need to get everybody's approval as a woman, then that's when you gain your confidence to be more of a digital entrepreneur. So please focus on your audience, the people who love you, your tribe, and be that woman. Stand out, be that voice for your community. Be that courage that's needed for African storytellers. It's so powerful that women have never had, platforms to share their stories. When I travel sometimes even to the Horn of Africa, and I watch the TV stations, I hardly see any women like sharing their stories. Majority of newscasters are men. Majority of anybody who's doing anything on media are men. So imagine if we get a few women on the digital platforms creating change, how we can change the narrative of those communities. A woman may be able to tell a story differently because of her lived experience than someone who has not. So build your self-esteem, build your confidence. It's not going to be easy. You're going to have a lot of haters, and the biggest haters are people that you already know. It's people that you already know. It might be that, that friend that discourages you, says, "Oh my God, what are you wearing today? Why are you on YouTube looking like that? Why are you running after, sharing that story?" So this is be careful who you're around. Be careful to make sure they're not feeding, you're not the person you don't want to be. Make sure they're feeding the person you want to be, the legacy that you want to leave, the memories that you want to leave for your family, for your children. This life is short. Everybody knows how precious life is. Let's get it. It's time for African women to wake up and to start taking control of their narratives. I mean, I love the fact that when I travel to Somalia and I meet a woman on the street, who has lost 3, 4 children, and I see her still laughing and smiling, and I say to myself, how ungrateful I am as a woman, to see this woman in her struggle, but yet she's still content and happy, and we can still share a laugh and enjoy. And that's what my viewers find interesting, is the fact that we are all relatable. There's no difference between me and a sister in Nigeria, me and a sister in Tanzania, in Kenya, in Ethiopia. Guess what? If we share something, it's the fact that everyone goes through struggles in life, and the best people are those who pick themselves up and who decide to be bigger than their stories. So be bigger than your story today. Share those narratives. Be open. Be distinct, and differentiate yourself in the marketplace. Africa needs women leaders who share their stories. People always focus on Africa as politicians, but forget it. There's too many politicians. We need more storytellers, okay, from our communities. Don't run for office. Run to tell the stories of your people and advocate for them. I remember there was one video that I did in Somalia where we went to a small town where I was born, and people thought I was crazy. Like, how could you go to your city that you're born? I'm like, why not? I wanted to discover my roots. And I had went back, and I went to the same hospital that I was born in, that my mother gave birth to me. And it had the same bed that my mother birthed me in. And sharing that story online with people and saying, oh my God, this is the same bed from how long ago that people are still using in our community there. And within a year after I had left and I came back, do you know that city received millions of dollars in funding to build a new hospital, to empower the women there, because women had to travel to another city to be able to give birth and get a gynecologist, because there wasn't one single gynecologist who's a female in that town. So this is what I'm talking about. Sharing these stories can change communities, and it's you guys who can do it. We don't need to wait for other people. You don't need to wait for CNN to come to your town, or Anderson Cooper to profile CNN heroes. Be the heroes of your community, women. It's time to rise up. It's time to share those voices. And I want to thank you so much. Liza King says, focus on your tribe and be the voice for your community. Yes, thank you so much. That's what it's about, Liza. It's about leaving a legacy. Remember that. We are all walking legacies, okay? When you die tomorrow, what are people going to say about you? I hate to be quiet in that sense. Whenever I say that, I just take a breath. When you die tomorrow, what are people going to say about you? What have you left in this world for your community, for your family, for Africa? Think about that. We are all responsible for this collective rising of consciousness around the world. And as Africans, it's time we start thinking, how can we contribute? Not how can we take? How can we get? How can we expect? How can we contribute? Because that's what's going to leave our children and our future better. And as women, and it wasn't until I became a mom that I got to realize that. That's why I'm so happy with the hashtag Motherland Moguls, because when I became a mother, I was like, oh my God, my children, growing up in Canada are probably not going to know much about their Somali heritage, much about their culture. And there's going to be millions of other Somalis around the world like them. So I need to start creating this catalog of database of beautiful visuals from their country, of their people, so they can be inspired to think better of themselves. If you show people a better vision for themselves, they will rise to that. But if you show people horrible things that they are, what their crimes they're committing, what the misery, the corruption, the infighting of life in Africa, guess what happens? We're going to rise to that occasion also. So let's share positivity and contribute to the narratives. I'm just yapping away. Let me connect who else is here. Sarah, thank you so much for joining. Great tips for African digital storytellers. Telling more stories of hope and courage. that's where the future is headed on the internet. You know, negative news, fake news, all that stuff, people are tired, okay? When I started my YouTube channel, people thought I was crazy to be telling positive Somali stories, but today they appreciate it because guess what? No one else is doing it and no one was interested before. But now we're getting a duplication of other platforms who are doing it, which is great. You know, we're getting people. The goal of digital storytelling, I want you to know, is not about just yourself. It's about creating a ripple effect. It's about having other people have a voice. You know, when I started on YouTube, there wasn't many Somalis at all on YouTube. I think there was only one female comedian who was very popular at that time. And today, there are thousands of young Somalis on YouTube sharing their narratives just because you started something for them. Think about that. What can you start in your community today for young people, for your business to change, to elevate, and to grow? Okay. And how long we have? Sorry, my assistant's here, guys. Let's see.
We have around 10-15 minutes left.
Okay, awesome. So thank you so much for all you guys who are watching. Don't forget to watch. Don't forget to tweet. The hashtag is Motherland Moguls. And please support SheLeadsAfrica.org. Amazing organization. They're doing big things. I'm so proud of their new partnership with Facebook where they're going to be training over 4,000 digital women to learn about digital entrepreneurship and how to use the internet. I mean, how powerful is that? You know, this is the internet age where we live as women, is that we no longer need middle people to control our stories. Okay, you no longer need that. You are the creator of stories now. Instead of sharing content, create content that's shareable. So that's great. Let's see here another one that we're gonna do. Empowered women empower women. Yes, I love that. Thank you so much. That's one of my favorite phrases. Here we go. So let's take 2 more questions from our viewers that emailed us, actually, which I love. So let me hold that 1 second. Let's hear who else is on the line. Thank you, Gingerly Lifestyle. Thank you so much. Is it Ginger Life? Thanks for shedding so much light on these topics. You're welcome. You know, and don't forget, guys, you can always engage with us on Integration TV. I'm on Instagram at Hodan TV. You can follow us there. You know, for me, it's not about just the fact that I'm a Somali woman. I'm a woman who has a passion for life, and I want to connect with other women who have the same passion, who want to be better. You know, this journey to grow doesn't start just because you decide, you know, you're just going to settle in life. It starts because you want to be a better person. You know, you can create better content when you become that person. You can create a better content when you become that business. You know, life is found in the small steps. The small steps meaning if you take care of your current customer at your business, guess what? You'll gain more customers. But if we're not doing the basics of life in our own lives, how can we be those people on the internet? You know, there's a lot of fake things on the internet, but it takes a lot of work to be authentic, to be engaging, to be yourself. And I'm encouraging every single one of you to think like that. There's nothing that divides us. We're all Africans. We're all from people of color from around the world. We can relate to each other based on our hustle, okay? That's what it's about. It's the hustle, okay? And so let's take another question that I saw. Okay, so this is another, is it Mojosala? She emailed from Lagos, Nigeria, and she says, I usually wonder how people will accept my storytelling on Instagram, especially when it's about my daily ways of coping with people. I fear that I might piss them off. Whew. Okay, so here's 2 things. When people are building, if you're on the internet to just have fun, great. But if you're on the internet and you're there to build an audience, build your business, build your brand, you need to think about what you post. And does it represent your brand? Does it represent who you are? Because, you know, if you're posting things that, I hate to say it, but people don't care. They care about what you bring to them. So if you're posting something that is irrelevant, that, you know, you're showing, you know, lack of manners, being rude, vulgarity, I mean, would you go to a business that had those characteristics? Obviously not. So why would we want to have those on digital marketplaces? You know, when I see a woman who's running for a political office and I see, you know, her profile picture, mashallah, she's like very marketed, looks nice, put together. And then 2 days later, she's posting a half naked photo of herself. I'm like, okay, Where is the marketing disconnect, right? Everything is about marketing, guys. If you don't think that you're in the marketing business, everyone is, okay? When you're getting married, you're marketing yourself for your spouse, okay? When you have a business, you're marketing to your customers. When you're getting a job, you're marketing yourself to who? The employers. When this is the power of life, okay? Everyone is in marketing. So what are you marketing to, and who are you out there? If you want to have those negative images of yourself, fine. Open a private account where you only associate with you and your friends. But if you're running a business and you want to do business, conduct yourself more professionally. People will look at your professional resume. One of the things that's very disheartening for me, especially a lot of young people don't think about, is, when they're on the internet and they're tweeting a lot of negative things or saying curse words, and they go for a job interview and the employer pulls up their Twitter account. I mean, this is what's happening. Some people are not getting hired because of their digital footprint. How powerful is that? So think about what you're putting out there. I mean, one of the decisions that you also make as a content creator is, when you decide to start putting content, are you going to be proud of that content 10 years from now, 15 years from now, 20 years from now? Let's have some standards, right, of integrity and respect and storytelling. We don't want to put a story out there. One of the people that I admire all the time is Oprah. And what she said, she interviewed a mom who wanted to be basically I guess, was telling her story about how she became a stripper and she was happy at nighttime. She's this way. And then Oprah sat down with her after they had filmed the entire interview. And Oprah asked her, are you a mom? And she was like, yes, I have a 10-year-old son. And Oprah decided that she wasn't going to air the interview after they completed everything and they filmed it. And this shows you what Oprah said was that the mother may not care today, but her 10-year-old child will care. And think about that. What we share, what we put out there, it can affect more than us. It can affect families. It can affect our public image of a person who we are. So think about it. Are you going to be proud of what you have online? And think about the legacy. Remember, I said, guys, it's not about today. It's about the legacy. What are you leaving on the internet? Because nothing dies on the internet. So let's see here. Oh, yes. Another thing I want to say is there's so many people out there who think about there isn't enough for everyone on digital marketplace, on YouTube, on Facebook, on everywhere. We're constantly worried about how many people are doing what we're doing, how many people are gonna take our ideas, how many people are gonna be the same like us. Guess what? If you can't bring something of value to the marketplace and be confident in your product, then you probably are worrying about the competition. People who don't worry about the competition are, guess what, have their own path. There is enough for everyone in this digital marketplace. And once you figure out that you can be enough in your own life, you will be enough online to create your own business platforms, to sell that product that you want, to engage your customers more, to gain a new audience following. So creating digital content is not about worrying about what other people are creating. It's putting out your vision of the world. So think about that today. It's your vision. What is your vision for where you live? Start where you live. What are the stories you can tell where you live? And you don't need big fancy equipment. Like I said earlier, somebody actually emailed saying, how do I get started with no equipment? Okay, majority of people have this. Everybody has a phone, okay? You can use a telephone today to create some of the best digital content in the world. And I'm telling you right now, it doesn't matter the quality of what you put on the internet. It's the quantity, it's the other way, sorry. Don't worry about what you're putting out. It's the quality content. I've seen crappy videos get millions of views because it's the story, it's the connection, it's that. So don't think about, what are you using to film? What are you telling? Okay. So I want to thank you so much for joining us. This has been a great webinar. It's been very engaging, and I'm hoping that everyone will get this opportunity to be able to learn more skills. And I know She Leads Africa will be doing a lot more webinars to engage the communities around the world, and especially for African women who are business builders. So I want to thank you so much for joining us. I'm sorry, 1 second. Go ahead. Okay, and don't forget, you can use our hashtag Motherland Moguls and make sure that you're tweeting that and engage and support people who are doing good. Okay, you have to support people who are out there. If you want support, start supporting people, start engaging with people, start elevating the people in your communities. The only way we can gain traction as Africans on the internet is if we have the support of our communities, and there is enough for everyone. So be that hero today, become that digital storyteller, share those stories, empower, inspire, motivate, and think about what you're leaving for the next generation. Be the hero of our lives. Yes, this is what I say. Let's do it, team. This is what it's about. I want to see women from every country in Africa start digital storytelling that's positive and that is different than what the mainstream media has for us, okay? The mainstream media does not care about Africa, okay? So let's contribute to the narrative. Be positive, put out there good things about your business, about your people, about your countries, and let's move forward. Africa rising. Thank you so much, all your motherland. I call motherhood. Yeah, we are motherhood too, but motherland moguls. Thank you so much for all joining me on this live webinar. Have a beautiful day, and I wish you all a wonderful journey on your YouTube careers, and more importantly, on your lives. Take care. Bye-bye.